And here is the video.
The hard problem of consciousness is a philosophical puzzle that delves into the nature of subjective experience and the profound mystery of how and why we have conscious awareness. Coined by philosopher David Chalmers in the 1990s, the hard problem seeks to address a fundamental question. Why does the brain's processing of information give rise to subjective experiences? To understand the hard problem, it's essential to distinguish between what Chalmers terms the easy problems and the hard problem of consciousness. The easy problems involve understanding the cognitive functions and mechanisms that contribute to our conscious experience, such as memory, attention, and the integration of sensory information. These are considered easy, not because they are simple to solve, but because they can, at least in theory, be addressed through scientific investigation, experimentation, and objective observation. On the other hand, the hard problem goes beyond these cognitive functions and delves into the subjective, qualitative nature of consciousness. It seeks to explain why certain patterns of neural activity are accompanied by the rich tapestry of subjective experiences that we all have, such as the redness of an apple, the taste of chocolate, or the pain of a headache. It asks why these experiences exist at all and why they have the particular qualities they do. One of the main challenges in addressing the hard problem is that it involves bridging the explanatory gap between the physical processes in the brain and the first-person, subjective experiences of consciousness. Physicalist or materialist approaches to consciousness often argue that the brain, as a complex biological organ, generates consciousness through its intricate neural processes. According to this perspective, consciousness is an emergent property of the brain's activities. However, critics argue that this reductionist approach fails to account for the qualitative nature of consciousness. Even if we understand all the physical processes and neural correlates of a particular conscious experience, such as seeing the color red, it does not explain why the experience itself feels the way it does. This feeling, or what it is like aspect of consciousness, remains elusive and is not easily reducible to physical or computational terms. Philosopher Thomas Nagel, in his famous essay, "What is it like to be a bat?" highlighted the subjective nature of consciousness by emphasizing that there is something it is like to be a conscious being. Even if we could perfectly simulate the brain processes of a bat, for example, we would still lack an understanding of the subjective experience of echolocation, the unique way in which a bat perceives its environment. Another aspect of the hard problem is the concept of qualia, individual instances of subjective conscious experience. Qualia refer to the raw, phenomenal aspects of our mental states, such as the taste of coffee or the scent of a rose. These subjective qualities resist easy explanation within a purely physicalist framework, leading to debates about whether qualia can be fully accounted for by neural processes. Philosopher Frank Jackson's famous thought experiment, the knowledge argument, further illustrates the challenges of the hard problem. Imagine a scientist, Mary, who knows everything there is to know about the physics of color but has never experienced color herself because she has been raised in a black and white environment. If Mary were to step outside and see a red rose for the first time, the argument goes she would gain new knowledge about the subjective experience of seeing red that was not accessible to her through mere physical understanding. This thought experiment suggests that there is a form of knowledge of what it's like to experience something, that cannot be gained solely through knowledge of physical facts. It implies that subjective experiences, or qualia, are not reducible to objective third-person descriptions. The hard problem of consciousness has sparked various philosophical and scientific theories in attempts to grapple with its complexities. Dualism, the idea that the mind and body are distinct substances, has been proposed as a solution, positing that consciousness is a non-physical entity separate from the physical brain. However, dualism faces challenges such as explaining how an immaterial mind interacts with the physical world. Panpsychism is another approach that suggests consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe, present even in the most basic entities. According to panpsychism, every particle has some level of consciousness, and complex consciousness arises from the combination of these elementary forms. While panpsychism attempts to address the hard problem by grounding consciousness in the fabric of reality, it raises questions about the nature and distribution of consciousness in the universe. Integrated information theory, EIT, proposed by neuroscientist Giulio Tononi, suggests that consciousness arises from the integration of information in a system. According to IIT, a conscious experience is associated with a specific pattern of information that cannot be reduced to the sum of its parts. While IIT provides a framework for understanding the unity of consciousness, critics argue that it still falls short of explaining why certain patterns of information give rise to subjective experiences. The hard problem of consciousness remains an open challenge, inviting continued exploration and debate at the intersection of philosophy, neuroscience, and cognitive science. As our understanding of the brain advances, the quest to unravel the mystery of subjective experience continues to be one of the most profound and perplexing inquiries in the realms of both science and philosophy. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, comment, and share.